So Jeff read the Haftarah beautifully for us this morning. He read the words of the prophet Samuel, who needed to call attention to the miracle that was about to happen. Gam ata hityatzvu u're'u et hadavar hagadol hazeh asher Adonai oseh le'einechem. Here again, gather together and see the marvelous thing that the Lord will do before your eyes. It's not such an amazing miracle from one perspective. All that happens in this story is thunder and rain that happens at a particular time. But it was thunder and rain that wasn't supposed to happen. And so Samuel tells the people, open your eyes and see the wondrous thing that God has done for us again. My sermon today is again about opening our eyes and seeing the wondrous thing that God has done for us. Let us this Shabbat acknowledge and recognize that in the past 2 weeks we have seen God's hand, God's providence, God's eternal presence guiding the Jewish people through the crucible of history. This 12-day war between Israel and Iran from June 13th to June 24th was not merely a confrontation between nations. Open your eyes. It was a divine revelation, a powerful reaffirmation of God's enduring covenant with his people. We can't let this moment pass by without discerning its spiritual meaning. From Israel's daring Operation Rising Lion to the United States' decisive Operation Midnight Hammer, we witnessed in our own days a miracle, God shielding his people once again from existential peril, a modern echo of midnight deliverances embedded in our sacred memory. Remember that at the very heart of Judaism is a truth that binds people and land in sacred unity. In Parashat Lech Lecha, God makes a promise to Abraham, Va'avarecha mevarechecha umekalelcha aor. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. V'nivrechu vecha kol mishpechot ha'adama. And all through you, the families of the earth will be blessed. That ancient promise has endured through exile, persecution, rebirth. It has carried us through inquisitions, pogroms, and genocide. They have vanished. We have not. Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel, live. The rebirth of the modern state of Israel in 1948, against every geopolitical and military odd, mirrors the miracles of the Bible themselves. It's a miracle wrought not only by human hands, but by the will of heaven. As we read in the book of Psalms, Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. We are not alone in our struggles or in our survival. We never have been. This belief was embodied by Menachem Begin, Israel's sixth prime minister. In 1981, when he authorized the strike on Iraq's Osirak reactor, the whole world was against him. He stated, we act under God's guidance to protect the Jewish people's future. He understood that Israel is not simply a nation. It is God's witness on earth. Begin's leadership, from peace with Egypt to Israel's miraculous victories thereafter, was undergirded by this belief in divine providence. The Torah itself confirms this destiny over and over again. In Parashat Va'etchanan we are told, "You are a people holy to the Lord. You are his treasured possession." The prophet Isaiah echoes, "Atem Edai, you are my witnesses, declares the Lord." The survival of the Jewish people, the flourishing of the state of Israel despite centuries of violence and hatred, is not random. Open your eyes. It is testimony to a living God. The recent war with Iran, the world's foremost state sponsor of terror, a regime committed openly to Israel's annihilation, is simply the latest chapter in that testimony. It's a country far bigger than Israel, a difficult mountainous terrain with a population 10 times the size. This war could have gone many other ways, in many other directions than what we actually saw. 1 week ago, I was speaking to a congregant whose whole family is in Israel, his wife, his children. He said, "I'm so worried. Russia could get involved. It would be a world war, a disaster. China could get involved. Another kind of world war and disaster. Is my daughter going to make it home okay on that boat? Is my son going to be all right with bombs falling so close to where he lives?" This moment is just the latest moment when divine protection turned the tides of history. It began on June 13th. Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, striking deep into Iran's nuclear facilities and military infrastructure. They killed the IRGC's general, Hossein Salami. The first night, a tremendous victory, but Iran retaliated ferociously. Missiles rained down on Israeli cities. 28 Israelis were killed. Many more were wounded. But Israel's air defenses held. Cities endured. And the spirit of the people stood unbroken. Then in the dark hours of June 22nd, the United States entered the battle. Operation Midnight Hammer was launched. B-2 stealth bombers dropped 14 GBU-57 bunker buster bombs on Iran's most fortified nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. It was a blow that reverberated across the globe. This was no ordinary war. This was not politics. This was not just military strategy. This was a divine drama. Just as David's sling overcame Goliath, so did Israel's precise strikes penetrate the defenses of a formidable enemy. Just as the psalmist said, 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. So too did Israel's cities endure the fire. Just as God split the sea, he again split the iron dome of danger to save his people. Some reports suggest Iran's nuclear program has only been delayed, not destroyed. But Prime Minister Netanyahu, with clarity and conviction, declared, quote, "We have removed the threat of nuclear annihilation." He was not simply making a strategic claim. He was professing a faith that the same God who preserved us in ancient Persia has protected us from modern Persia again. Indeed, Netanyahu's leadership reflects this theology. Last week he said, "The most important member of our coalition is a guy named Siyata Dishmaya." Siyata Dishmaya means divine assistance. He sees, as Begin did, the hand of heaven guiding the hand of the army. And even President Trump, in a moment many dismissed as performative, gave thanks where thanks was due. At the end of a brief 4-minute address delivered just as Shabbat ended, he said, quote, "I just want to thank everybody, in particular God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East, God bless Israel, and God bless America," end quote. Some mocked him. They called him insincere. They missed the whole point. In that moment, President Trump was doing something rare in public life, acknowledging the divine. He recognized that military operations come with the terrible risk of miscalculation and loss, yet none occurred that night. The mission succeeded beyond expectations. His words reflected genuine gratitude and humility, an acknowledgement that something beyond strategy had intervened. He saw what we saw. Open your eyes, a marvelous thing that the Lord has done. And in supporting Israel with decisive action, the United States fulfilled a sacred promise. Va'avarecha mevarechecha. Those who bless you will be blessed. Israel is more than an army. It is the vessel of divine love and purpose. And notice the timing. At midnight. Midnight, in our tradition, is no coincidence and not a random time. It is the hour of deliverance. There's a song we sing at many Passover Seders. Vayehi b'chatzi halayla. It happened at midnight. It recalls the midnight hour when God struck Egypt's firstborn and set us free. Again and again, from Daniel in the lion's den to Samson tearing the gates of Gaza, midnight marks God's intervention. On Motzei Shabbat, as we were lighting the Havdalah candle, separating the sacred from the mundane, we learned of Operation Midnight Hammer. It was executed between 2240 and 2305 GMT. Not a single plane was intercepted. It was an act of divine orchestration, a modern Vayehi b'chatzi halayla, a moment when darkness became deliverance. The contrast between leaders could not be more stark. Netanyahu and Trump stood firm, invoking faith and providence. And then there was Canada's Prime Minister. On June 22nd, Carney posted, quote, "Iran's nuclear program is a grave threat to international security, and Canada has been consistently clear that Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon." End quote. Fine words, but no gratitude, no thanks to the United States, no praise for Israel. Instead, a bland call for de-escalation and diplomacy, as though hollow phrases can stop missiles and silence evil. Even more damning, Carney ignored the credible threat of Iranian sleeper cells operating within Canada, a danger highlighted even at the G7 summit. Where was his plan to protect Jewish communities? Where was his plan to protect Persian dissidents or Canadian citizens from Iranian terror? Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre called out this failure clearly, but Carney's moral ambiguity remains. In his refusal to praise the defenders and name the aggressor, he abdicated moral clarity. Worse, he aligned Canada, even inadvertently, with those who curse Israel. And the Torah is clear about such people. We must pray for leaders who, like Netanyahu and Trump, despite their flaws, see divine providence at work and are not afraid to act on it. This past war revealed a spiritual divide. Those who bless Israel align themselves with God's plan, and those who remain silent, or worse, obstruct, court moral and even spiritual failure. Our tradition does not teach blind fatalism. It teaches that divine providence and human action walk hand in hand. Rabbi Akiva said, "Everything is foreseen, but free will is given." The Baal Shem Tov taught, "Even a leaf does not fall without God's wanting it to." And if a leaf is subject to divine care, how much more so is the fate of his treasured land and people. In one moving encounter, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the late Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, told a young Benjamin Netanyahu, "God has an important role for you." That moment has now unfolded before our eyes. Consider this week's Parsha. After the rebellion of Korah, God instructs Moses to have each tribe place a staff in the tent of meeting. The next morning, Aaron's staff had sprouted, budded, and borne almonds, a sign from heaven. The Khatam Sofer teaches that this miracle was not just proof of Aaron's authority, but of the way God's providential concern manifests for the unity and survival of his people. It's like an almond. An almond blossoms very, very quickly. 1 week ago, we didn't know if the Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv would be open in 3 months from now. Today, flights are departing and arriving on schedule. Like an almond. When God acts, he acts decisively. Like the matzah. Miracles with divine providence change the world quickly, unexpectedly. That's how God affirms his chosen path. So too in our time has the staff blossomed. This war's outcome is a testimony. Just open your eyes. Israel remains. Iran failed. God intervened. Let us not forget the cost. We mourn the 28 Israeli souls lost to Iranian missiles. They are men and women, young and old, wonderful people. We pray for all those wounded, and especially the heroism of the Israel Defense Forces and Security Patrol. And we remember the words of the psalmist, "Let the avenging of the outpoured blood of your servants be known among the nations." Let us also name the betrayal of moral cowardice. Tweeting can only take you so far. Carney's equivocation, his absence of praise, his lack of protection for Jewish and Iranian Canadians, that too must be condemned. God's providence requires more than belief. It demands faithfulness and action. Israel stood resolute. So must we. We must proclaim without hesitation that Israel's triumph is the triumph of God. As Isaiah declared, "For Zion's sake I will not keep silent, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until her righteousness shines forth like the dawn." Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki leolam chasto. Let us give thanks for God's goodness. His eternal covenant endures forever as the dawn breaks over Zion again. Israel's light shines today through the smoke and the fire, through the destruction. It shines in Tehran's silence and cowardice. It shines in the prayers of Jews around the world. It is the light of providence, burning from Sinai to today. Our eyes are open. We trust in that light. We trust in that hand. For God has not and will not abandon his people. Not then, not now, not ever. Shabbat Shalom.